All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos from, kind of balmy and humid Huntington this week, but
I brought the humidity with me.
yeah, Cantor Beth is here, as you can tell. She might be fading in and out because that's what vampires and demons do. But she is here with us, helping us get ready for the high holidays, and so we are here, and it's a great evening. So we're going to begin by benching Licht with Cantor Beth on page 2.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'etzivanu lehadlikne shel Shabbat.
Right. All right. Because Cantor Beth is here, and it's just a crazy Friday night, we are going to do a responsive reading on page, what one do I want to do tonight? Page 9. Page 9. There are days when we seek things for ourselves and measure failure by what we do not gain.
On Shabbat, we seek not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature as if it were a horn of plenty that can never be exhausted.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
There are days when we act as if we cared nothing for the rights of others.
On Shabbat, we remember that justice is our duty and a better world our goal.
So we embrace Shabbat, day of rest, day of wonder, day of peace. So Kabbalat Shabbat is literally the Shabbat service, the service that separates Shabbat from the rest of the week. The rabbis in the mystical city of Sfat felt that running from the work week into Shabbat, going from the work week right into the Baruch Hu, was just too much for us. And so they gave us Kabbalat Shabbat, which is a series of psalms and songs and things to help get us into the Shabbat mood. And so Cantor Beth has some beautiful tunes that she used to lead Kabbalat Shabbat when I was with her in Tampa. And on the top of page 12, Lechu Neranena, and you want to go over it a couple of times and make sure they get it?
Sure. So do you want to do the short version, the upbeat one, or do you want to do the 2-paragraph one?
Okay, sure.
Okay. So, Lechu Neranena Ladonai, Naria Litzor Yishenu. It's just basically this first paragraph, Nekadma Fanav. So it goes like this. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena Ladonai. Repeat. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena Ladonai. Naria Litzor Yishenu Nikadma Fanav B'toda. Naria Litzor Yishenu Bizmirat Naria Lo. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena Ladonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena Ladonai.
And that is just saying, come let us sing joyously to God. Let's raise a shout to our rock and our deliverer. Right, these are all just about all the liturgy in this part of Kabbalat Shabbat comes from the Psalms, the book of Psalms. And so Psalm 95, 96, 97, 98, and 99, and then Psalm 92 are the Psalms for Kabbalat Shabbat. And so that was Lechu Neranena. Now, one of my favorite parts of Kabbalat Shabbat we find on the bottom of page 17, comes out of Psalm 99, and it's the end. All right, and it's Romamu Adonai Eloheinu. And those of you who study Hebrew see it's got that shva followed by the same consonant. So it's ro, mi, mu, 2 mems. Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu lahar kodsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. And there's some back and forth that the cantor will do.
Yes. So repeat after me. Ki.
Key.
Very good. Better
Yeah,
than that.
one more
Ready?
time.
Let's try it again.
It's
Ready?
one word.
Repeat
One
after
word.
me.
Ki.
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 Good. So every time when we get to that part, it's repeat after me. It's ki, 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 ki. That's the back and forth. Are you ready? Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu l'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu l'har kodsho. Ready and ki,
Ki.
ki,
Ki.
ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romemu. One more time. Here we go. Ki,
Ki.
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 Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Now we've got you warmed up. Here we go. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu l'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu l'har kodsho. Here we go. Ki,
Ki.
ki,
Ki.
ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Here we go. And ki.
Ki.
Ki,
Ki.
ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu l'har kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu l'har kodsho.
Well, that wasn't too bad. That was not too bad. All right. Let's go to page 20. Page 20 for Lecha Dodi. And we have the normal Lecha Dodi. Lecha Do. Go. You know, go.
Well, there's
Well, say
a
what
zillion of them. So.
They know the words. So whatever tune you want.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor b'zachor b'dibor echad. Ishmi'anu el ha'amiuchad. Adonai echad v'shemo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'li tehila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu b'nelcha. Ki mekod habracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machashava techila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha. Kumitzei bitoch hafecha. Rav lach shavet be'emek habacha. Vehu yachamol alai chemla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Itna ari me'afar kumi. Livshi bigdei tifartech ami. Al yad ben Yishai beit halachmi. Korva el nafshi ge'ala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, Kiva orach kumi ori. Uri, shir daberi. Kivod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha Dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lo tevoshi velo tikali. Ma tishtachachi u'ma tehemi. Bach yechesu aniei ami. Venivneta העיר אל תילה, לך דרדי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, והיו למשיסה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבלעייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כמסס חתן על כלה, לך דרדי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תעריצי, על יד איש בין פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה, לך דרדי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, לך דרדי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לך דרדי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
All right, let's turn to page 22 for some verses from Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat. And let's read that outdented paragraph together. A psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night. With a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together, you have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai. How very subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this.
Tzadik katamar yifrach, ke'erez balvanon yizkeh shetulim bevit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenurun b'seva deshenim vera'ananim yiyu lehagid ki ashar Adonai tzuri velo avlatavo.
She has no problem hitting the high notes that I can't even reach with the stepladder. So page 24, we'll welcome the angels. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bachem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Nil Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzitchem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon.
page 146. We'll continue. I'll ask everyone please rise for Baruch Hu.
Yain the nine 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 nine. Yain the nine 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 nine. Yain the nine 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 nine. Yain the nine 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 nine. Yain the nine 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 nine. Yain the nine 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 nine. Yain the nine 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 nine. Yay, the line, 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 line. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. Baruch Adonai. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach, Le'olam va'ed.
You may be seated on page 147. Let's read together in English. Adonai, your majesty is proclaimed by the marvels of earth and sky. Sun, moon, and stars testify to your power and wisdom. Day follows day in endless succession, and the years vanish, but your sovereignty endures. Though all things pass, let not your glory depart from us. Help us to become co-workers with you,
and endow our
fleeting days with abiding worth.
Baruch atah Adonai, Amari v'Ravi.
Page 148.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shofenu u'b'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Torah-techa, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Ki hem chayenu ve'orech yameinu ve'orech yameinu, u'bahem negeh yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני הוצאתי אתכם ארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 151, let's read responsively. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all.
Yet that oneness eludes our grasp, as imperfection and evil abound.
Before our eyes there's a vision of perfection, order, and goodness.
There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul.
When will redemption come?
When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves.
Long ago we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High.
We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
Top of 151.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 152.
You're just trying to confuse me. I see how it works. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, nara tehilot osef ele, malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokeyam lifnei Moshe Miriam, ze eli anu ve'amru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, uge'olo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch atah Adonai,
Oh.
Ga'al Yisrael.
You want to do the Hashkivenu the way we used to do it?
Sure.
Top of page 153, the opening of Hashkivenu.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'avidinu shomreinu l'chaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'avidinu malkeinu l'chaim. Ushmor et seitinu uvoeinu l'chaim u'l'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'avidinu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom ve'avidinu shomreinu l'chaim.
Let's read together in English. Give us a place to rest, O God. Shelter us in the long, soft, evening shadows of your truth. You are true protection and safety. In your presence we find love and acceptance. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Over all we love. Over our Jerusalem and yours.
Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol amu Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim. Ve'al Yerushalayim, ve'al Yerushalayim, Amen.
Page 154 at the top. It's not Shabbat without it. It's the Shamru.
Ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam b'ritotam, ve'shamru
לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Please rise, page 155. We'll begin the Amidah together. Page 155.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufia ki tehilatecha. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufia ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot B'Imahot, U'Mevii Gula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Metim Atah Rab Lehoshia, Morid Hatah, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'agivurot, Umidomelach, Melech Memit, Umechaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hamitim. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Let's continue on page 160, and let's read that paragraph together. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may we all live in such a way that this day fulfill its promise.
Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Top of page 163, a little bit of gratitude, a little bit of thanksgiving, and lots to be grateful for this weekend, even though Cantor Beth is here.
I'm the sister you always wanted but never got.
There's somebody who might be grateful for that. But there's lots to be grateful for this week. Top of page 63, let's read responsively. For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks.
For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and our hands, we offer praise.
For the desire in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful.
For life and nature, harmony and beauty, for the hope of tomorrow, all praise to the source of being.
Page 164, we'll close out with a prayer for peace. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Ki atahu melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael. Bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
Page 253, one of the many prayers for healing that we have. This one is Misha Berach, middle of 253.
Yishebeirach Avotenu Mekor habracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishebeirach imotenu mekor habracha Avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
I'm going to jump ahead. Page pages 258 and 259, the prayers of our community. And Mari, we're going to change things up a little bit tonight. How about the prayer for our congregation?
Source of all being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us: love of Torah, devotion and prayer, and support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, sheltecha levavcha b'yirah na'avod. Elizabeth, how about the prayer for our country?
Okay.
258.
183.
258. 258.
O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion, and help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit.
Amen. Shalom, shalom, Yerushalayim, Yishlayu, Havayich. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Adinu Shabashamayim, Sur Yisrael, Goalo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reishid Smichat Gulatenu, Hagen Aleha Bievrat Chasdecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha V'amitecha L'rasheha, Sareha V'yotzeha, B'takneim Be'etzah Tova Milfanecha, V'natata Shalom Ba'aretz, B'simchat Olam Yoshveha, V'nomar Amen. O Heavenly One, protector and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, which marks the dawning of hope for all who seek peace. Shield it beneath the wings of your love, spread over it the canopy of your peace. Send your light and truth to all who lead and advise, guiding them with your good counsel. Establish peace in the land and fullness of joy for all who dwell there. Amen. All right, friends, Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos. I have to apologize for Cantor Beth every once in a while. She hits those notes in the stratosphere and she doesn't give you fair warning. So if you see my ears bleeding, you know. But Yesh Koach. This week's Torah portion. This week's Torah portion is Ki Tetzei, and we are entering the last third of the book of Devarim. Moshe is going to start winding up his final lecture. This week we get 74 new mitzvot. 74 mitzvot that have not yet shown up, and it's the most of any parasha. There are some that have 50 mitzvot, but 74 is the largest amount of mitzvot that we get in one clump. And they are a diverse mixture. There's some ritual, but it's mostly ethical mitzvot. For example, women who are taken as captives during war, and then they are married, the person took them, marries them, and they are divorced, they are set free. They don't remain in the house of the man who had captured them and then married them. They are set free. We're told that when we build a new house, that if we have a roof, a parapet, as it were, we have to build a fence around it because we know not to fall off of it, but it's the people that we invite to our houses for dinner may not be so smart. If a man has multiple wives, which was very common in Torah period, the firstborn of his first wife is the Bachor. The firstborn of his first wife is the one who gets the lion's share of the estate. And even if that wife is not one who is loved, right? We saw this many times in the book of Genesis, right? Abraham needs to have a son. He loves Sarah, but she can't provide the son. So he has a child with Hagar. Well, that would be Hagar's first son, who was Ishmael. But then Hagar gets pregnant, Sarah gets pregnant, and gives birth to Isaac. And there are some shenanigans because Sarah doesn't want Isaac and Ishmael to get close because she doesn't want Ishmael to think that he's the Bechor. And we have the story of Jacob and Esau. Esau is the firstborn. He's the Bechor, but Jacob, finesses his way to take advantage of his older brother and his aged father. But here we get it. First wife, first son, he's the Bechor. Then we get this wonderful mitzvah, the ben sorer umoreh, the rebellious son, or the disrespectful son. Right? If you are a disrespectful son, you are taken out to the gate of the city and stoned. Somehow, the rabbis later write this law out of existence because they realized that none of the rabbis would have lived long enough to become the rabbis had this law still been in the books. If you find a garment or an animal that is lost, you must return the animal and the garment, or at least try to find to whom the garment or the animal belongs. You must not remain indifferent. Oh, look, I found a coat. It's mine. Or, oh, look, there's a coat. I don't care. I don't need one. I'm wearing mine. Right? We can't remain indifferent. If we see an animal that's lost, we have to search for its owner. And Elie Wiesel famously says that the opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference, right? Love and hate are emotions. And so if you have love, there can be hate. If you have hate, there can be love. But indifference is that I don't care what happens to you. You're of no importance to me. We learn this very, very strange mitzvah that actually causes one of our great rabbis, to become a heretic. We're told that when we're out getting birds, we're not to take the mother bird along with her young. It's one or the other. We get the young, but we shoo the mother bird away, or we take the mother bird away and leave the young, but we don't take them both at the same time. And Elisha ben Abuye, one of the famous rabbis in the Talmud, was out in the fields one day and he saw a son and a father, and the son goes up to shoo away the mother bird so they can get the young. And there are two different versions of the story. One is that after he shoos the mother away, he falls out of the tree, breaks his neck, and dies. When the second one is, as he's coming down, he steps on a viper and is bitten and dies. And the reason this was so troubling to Elisha ben Abuye is that here the boy is honoring his father and fulfilling a mitzvah and dies. And so Elisha ben Abuye becomes a heretic. Apicorus actually studies Greek philosophy. And his name is then, he goes not by Elisha ben Abuye, he goes by Acher, which means the other. Surprise to many politicians in the world, adultery carries the death penalty. A slave seeking refuge must be taken in. You cannot return the slave to his master if he's trying to escape the master. If you are out in the fields and you are hungry, you can eat from your neighbor's field. You can take some grain, you can take some grapes if it's a vineyard, but you're not allowed to carry a container in. So if Maury has a nice grapevine or vineyard and I'm going by and I'm kind of peaked, I can go into his vineyard and take some grapes and eat them, but I cannot bring a 55-gallon drum and fill it and leave, right? That would be unfair, but we're allowed to eat that way. And we're not allowed to use, believe it or not, a sickle. We can't go in with a tool to help strip Maury of his grapes or his wheat. Once again, we are commanded to uphold the rights of the immigrant, the widow, and the orphan. We're not allowed to take the widow's garment as pawn, right? If she comes and she says, I have nothing and I need to sell my garment so I could buy food either for myself or for my family. We're not to take the garment. And when we're out cutting our fields and some of the sheaves drop down, are left on the ground, we're not to go back and clean them up. Same with grapes. We're not supposed to go back and clean them up, but we're to leave them for the poor so that they can feel like they're not getting charity, but they've had to actually do something to get their food. We get this idea of the Levirate marriage, where a woman is widowed and her husband did not provide a son, so she has to marry the next brother. And then if she conceives with that brother, that son is credited to the deceased father. And if she doesn't want to do it, there's this wonderful ritual where she gets to spit and throw a sandal at the guy. And yeah. But we
Specifically a sandal.
huh?
Specifically a sandal.
Specifically a sandal.
I heard of it.
That's probably because what they were wearing. Thank God. Because, you don't want somebody with high heels. A man or a woman throwing high heels at you. We have a command for honest weights and measures. We're not to take advantage of people. So if we're selling things that are weighed and or measured, we have to make sure that our weights and measures are correct. And then the story ends with the command to remember Amalek and to blot out his memory and for what he did to us while we were out on the road out of Egypt. But the theme of this week's Parsha, not all Parshiot have themes, but this one is lo tuchal lihit aleim. We're not to be indifferent. Literally, we're not to blind ourselves. We're not to close our eyes. Because this week's Parsha was about dignity and worth of all human beings. And if someone is suffering, we need to alleviate that suffering. If someone has lost something, we have to help them find it. Even the most marginal members of society deserve our care and our compassion. And as always, we're reminded that we do this not because God wants us to do it, not because we can feel better about ourselves. We do it because we were once slaves in Egypt and we were treated poorly. And we're now commanded not to treat others poorly. As I said, there were 74 mitzvot, 27 positive and 47 negative. And that's your short portion in a nutshell. So, what's the most difficult thing for someone to do? If you were to ask a person a question, what's the most difficult thing for a human being to do? What do you think their top answer would be? Well, some would say speaking in public. That would be the hardest thing for some people to do. I used to think hitting a baseball is often considered the hardest thing for a human being to do because of all of the different muscles and all of the different reflexes that come into play. And the harder and or faster the ball is thrown, the more difficult it becomes to hit it. No. Actually, being left alone in a quiet place is something that most people will not want to do. I don't get it, but I'll take it. As a species, apparently we don't like to be alone with our thoughts.
Not alone with who?
Our thoughts. We don't like to be alone thinking. And so, around this time of year, I start to get a little nostalgic. Fall, autumn does this to me. Because I think back on some simpler times, right? Back when I was growing up, there were 3 TV stations. I was the remote control. Shows went off, a TV station shut down at midnight. There was no internet. There were no real electronic gadgets that kept us busy. I miss the natural soundtrack of my life, of my youth, which was largely made up of nature sounds, my brother screaming, and silence. Silence. University of Virginia and Harvard over a number of years, did studies and found that people do not enjoy even 6 to 15 minutes in a quiet room by themselves. 6 to 15 minutes, right? They would rather be doing a mundane task, counting tacks, counting the ceiling tiles. Many, if given the choice between having to spend 16 to 15 minutes by themselves, would prefer giving themselves electric shocks. I'm not quite sure where we went wrong. It seems that we need to be doing something rather than nothing, even if that something is of no real value and can hurt us. It seems that we have rewired our brains. Constant stimuli provide neurochemical hits that tell us that we are always in constant contact with someone. And you see this all the time. You see it with everybody, myself included, although I try very hard not to. Watch people when they put their phones down, and if it pings or vibrates or does something, immediately they reach for it to see. And even if it's a spam call or a bad email or something, they still want to see. They still going to get that hit of dopamine, I guess it is. All right? And oh, somebody's interested in me. I don't have to think about anything. Somebody's going to know. We are constantly bombarded by ads. All right, turn on the TV. The computer that you have today, next week Apple's going to drop something and it's going to revolutionize the world and it's going to fit in 2 of your back pockets and you're going to have a 1,000-mile extension cord to keep it plugged in, but you don't want to miss it. Rocky Part 76 is coming out in 2 days, and you want to be there because Rocky, from a ventilator and his brain is in a box, he fights everybody and wins. Right? It's constant. And our reactions are almost Pavlovian, right? Instead of getting a dog treat, we get an email. We get a text. We get an emoji. We are focused constantly on our devices. I'm not a complete Luddite, but I think we have paid too high a price for all this technology. We have lost our ability to appreciate silence. We have lost our ability to appreciate solitude. And we have found out, many people have found out, that they can't tell the difference between being alone and being lonely. I tell people I can be alone and I am never lonely. I get along with my thoughts. I don't fear my thoughts. And the peacefulness of a quiet house or a quiet place is priceless. And there are whole generations out there right now that are afraid of when things get quiet. And that's a shame. That's a shame. I'm not suggesting we go back to those halcyon days of my youth where at midnight the TV stations went off, most people were in bed, and if I were awake on my block where I grew up, I was the only one stirring. And God, the quiet was unbelievable. But those days are gone. We've just lost our ability to deal with our inner dialogue, as it were. Because it can be painful, it can be troubling to think to yourself, or about your problems. It's much easier if you are distracted. We have now become squirrels out in the wild. They see something shiny and they run towards it. And they see something off to the side that's even shinier and they run off to it. And they're just running back and forth between the shiny things. silence is not a bad thing. The book of Kohelet, Ecclesiastes says, 8 lachashot ve'et lidaber. There's a time for silence, a time to be quiet, and a time to talk. It's not that there is a time to talk and a time to be quiet. There's a time for one and there's a time for the other. And all too often we fill our lives with noise. Quiet and or silence restores and reinvigorates. It can give us a chance to reboot, as it were. And this is the idea of the word shalom. Shalom, yes, means peace, but it also means to be unified, to be together, to be whole, to be centered, and not pulled in 55 directions. My cell phone gets Shabbat off. It works hard all week. I give it Shabbat off. Why? Because it too needs to be silent. It doesn't need to be reminding me on Shabbat that there's a world out there. I know that there's a world out there. That world can exist without me for Shabbat. And that's the point of Shabbat. 3,500 years ago, the idea of Shabbat was revolutionary, and it's revolutionary today. It's a time of quiet that is built into our lives, into our tradition. As Jews, we have this time every week, once every 7 days. We can turn things off and let the world go on without worrying. We can listen to our inner dialogue. We can give it a chance to talk. Shabbat's a time to unplug. It's a time to be quiet and to listen. Even if it's Cantor Beth, I'll still listen to her on Shabbat. But the point is that Shabbat is here to help us. And so as we move into the month of Elul, we're getting deeper into the month of Elul, which means Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are gradually getting closer. We need to do some inner work, and we can't be afraid of it. We have to be able to take some time, 6 to 15 minutes. I don't know. Is that too much? Is that not enough? And think about where we are in the world. Are we where we want to be? Are we who we want to be? You can't do that constantly looking at your phone, constantly waiting for the next ping. If you start looking for silence and enjoying it today, this Shabbat, you'll be glad you did. And you'll discover something wonderful about this world, that without the pings and the dings and the rings, there's some beautiful sounds out there that we have been missing. Sounds of children laughing while they play on the street, the sounds of squirrels chasing shiny things, simply the wind as it moves through the neighborhood. Shabbat Shalom and Good Shabbos. Maury, what time is it?
Kadoosh.
Kiddush. It's time for Kiddush. Where would we be if Maury didn't remind me? Yeah, you're not going to find the full Kiddush.
That's fine. יום השישי ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישבת ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בא שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. סברים ארנם
L'chaim.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם Bare peri hagafen,
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, בשבת קודשו באהבה וברצה הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, וקדיש השבת. Amen.
All right, please remain standing. Page 282. We'll start closing out our service with Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויסד הארץ, ומשה ביקרה בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו וגובהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס סלתו, הכתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבת אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. It's with great sadness that I let us all know that Patricia Johnson passed away today, wife of David, both of whom are friends and members of our congregation. There are no funeral arrangements yet made, and as soon as we know something, we will let you all know as well. This week, we observed the following yardsides: Patricia Hyman, Jack's wife, mother of Derek, Rebecca, Faith, Joshua, and David. Sam Ratowski, Harold Radell's father, Judy Woodruff's grandfather. Hyman Schenker, related to Ella. Joan Snyder, Stephen's cousin. Fred Island, related to Ed. Gladys Hamill, Dennis's mother. Frank Gableman, Steve Shaddle's maternal grandfather. Bess Levine, Marilyn Cohen's mother. Robert Pickholtz, Linda Klein's father. Helen Rose, Harold's mother. Dr. David Weinsweg, Tammy's husband, father of Zoe, Noah, and Annabella. Jane Jackson, Clarence's wife. Minnie Jacobs, Richard and Linda Kuntz's grandmother, Layla's mother. Rowena Pickholtz, Linda Klein's stepmother. Hal Schiff, Rena's uncle. May their souls be bound up in the bond of life eternal. May their memories be a blessing to us all, and may they always rest in peace.
Amen.
Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 294. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shmei Rabba.
Amen.
Balma, Divrach, Hirute, V'yamlik Malchute. בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה בזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה בריחו. לעילם ינקול ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, לאמירם בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיא, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. You may be seated. I want to say Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos to everyone. Yashar Cholchek to Cantor Beth for leading us this evening. She'll be around for the next 5-ish weeks. It will seem like forever. If I come in and I'm twitching, you'll know. You'll know. But we're glad that she's here. She's going to help us get ready and then to celebrate high holidays, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. A couple of quick announcements. Services tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Then again on Sunday morning at 9. I have 2 classes this Sunday afternoon. 1 o'clock is our Hebrew. I guess we're 201 now. We're in the second book. And that's at 1 to 2. And then from 2 to 3, we have our Let My People Know High Holiday Edition. How to prepare for the high holidays. And so last week we started talking about tshuva. This week we'll continue, as well as I'll give you a couple of readings that you can think about in your moments of silence leading up to the high holidays, of talking about how to get ready for the high holidays. And then on the 29th, which will be the next class because we're going to take next Sunday off, the following Sunday, it's a to be announced. It'll be a special surprise. And so we'll see what that surprise is. No meetings this week. So it's going to be a quiet week, hopefully, and things will remain quiet as we prepare for the high holidays. And so let's close out on page 321 with Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Malach בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת מעשה וחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יחיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא אבוז והמשרה, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, בצורך לי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, בידו אף כדרוכי, בעת דישן בעירה, B'limruchi geviyati Adonai li velo ira.
We forgot one thing. We have our booklets from Hadar for the high holidays. These are Hadar is a non-denominational Beit Midrash study hall in Manhattan, and for all the major holidays and a couple of the minor ones, they put out a booklet of articles and inspirational readings and thoughts. And so these just arrived this week. They're on the back. They'll be around the synagogue through the high holidays. So please, and they're free. And so please grab one and learn a bit from it. We have some people saying hello to us via the intertubes. And let's see who they are. Well, there's a lot of Narishkeit, but G. David T, GDT, Grant David Tate. Shabbat Shalom and good Shabbos to everyone. Stay safe and well. Hashem willing, all be blessed with light and love. Thank you, GDT. Same to you. Thank you for being here. There's Mom. Shabbat Shalom to all from Rabbi's mom and Cliff from Nice or in Pennsylvania. Oh, hi to Cantor Beth. No, that's not was there. And looking forward to seeing you in October. No, that was not there. I made that up. No, that's from Mom and Cliff. Nourish Kite. Grant David Tate erased to something. There's more Nourish Kite. Continued Nourish Kite. More Nourish Kite. Donnell Horn, Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Donnell. Here's more Nourish Kite. That's it, I think. No, it says more. Let's keep going. No, I guess that's it. All right. Well, all right, friends. Thank you for being here this evening. Not much going on, but you could always stop by the synagogue and see us. Want to wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom and a good Shabbos. And please be careful out there.
Good Shabbos.